Today I am very excited to start my October Thriller Read-A-Thon. I have 8 books on hold at the library. One has come in so far, so that's the one I'm starting with. But before I get to that, basically what I am doing, pretty straightforward. I'm going to read a bunch of thrillers in the month of October. So whether this is one big video or whether I separate it sort of depends on how many books I get through and how much I talk about them. So I have read thrillers before. Mystery is more of my favorite genre, but thrillers have been so hit or miss for me that I'm partially doing this to try and figure out what I like about thrillers and what I don't specifically, so I can be better at picking them. So the one we are starting with is The Family Upstairs by Jewell. So from the summary, this one basically what they tell you on the cover is this woman who's just turned 25 who has been interested in finding out who her birth parents are, and so she gets the letter with, like, she's finally getting the information. I assume it was sealed to her until this point. And she finds out that she finds out who they are and that she has inherited their house. But the thing about the house is that 25 years ago, there was a noise complaint, I guess. There was this baby crying, and they're like, please, it's been like however long, go check. So the police show up. There's a 10-month-old baby crying in the crib, and 3 dead adults in the kitchen, all dressed in black. And the other 4 children that supposedly live in the house are nowhere to be found. So I'm assuming that she is the baby, now grown up. I'm hoping that was not a plot twist, because it seems pretty obvious. But I am excited to read this one. I am not sure what twists and turns it might take. I may be misremembering, but it's possible that, like, once she gets to the house, odd things start to happen. So I don't know if there's anything, like, supernatural about it. There's nothing in the summary that says that, but I feel like in reviews, I may be getting ahead of myself. Book 1, let's get started. So I'm now about 25% into The Family Upstairs by Jewell, and I'm just not really sure what the mystery is. So there's 3 perspectives, and one of them is Libby, the young woman who's just found out about her past. And then there's Henry, who is one of the other children who lived in the house. And then there's Lucy, who I assume is also one of the other children, but I'm not sure on that yet. But, okay, I get that, eventually something bad happens where there are dead people in the house. But I just, is the whole point of the book just, figuring out how we got to that point? I feel like there should be more than that, and I'm not sure if there will be. So I won't include any spoilers in the video, but so I've come upon this subplot, I guess, I assume, in the book, and I'm just not sure why. I guess just character stuff, but maybe it becomes more important. I'm not seeing it now. I don't know what this book is really about yet, I guess. So I am enjoying the book, but it's not a thriller yet. I feel like I should be oh gosh, more often than I am. I don't know if I've had an oh gosh moment yet, and I'm almost a third of the way through. I'm now just over a third of the way through, and we've had our first weird thing. And it's the kind of weird thing that's like, so I don't think there's anything like paranormal going on in the house. I think I was wrong about that. But there's a weird thing, but it's the kind of weird thing that could also be absolutely nothing at all. Or it could like all hinge on this one thing, and I don't see how it could, but I mean, it's weird, but I don't know. So I'm now over halfway, and I feel like the story's starting to come together a little bit more, but I mean, and assuming everything is true so far, I guess I'm like, I'm not, it doesn't feel like a thriller. And I think probably because, like, what happened was so far in the past. And even though, like, we're learning about the people involved, like, as the story goes on, because part of the, like, one of the perspectives is mostly in the past. So, like, we're learning, like, the build up to this. It doesn't feel threatening. So I don't know if like it's still possible, like we're getting to the point in the book where like things should like start really picking up, but I mean it's possible that it's not a very good thriller. But I mean the story's okay. I like the characters, so I mean like I've made like great progress today. I'm still gonna keep reading, but if it starts to get like scary, it's dark out now, so I'm gonna stop because I'm like that. I'm now 2/3 of the way in, and something concerning has occurred. And I mean, it's not likely that it's just an innocent mistake, and it's possible that it's quite bad, but I don't know why. I mean, I know why it would be bad, but I just don't know why this I don't know why this would happen. Okay, now I'm confused. I'm confused. And I can't say what it's about because I can't spoil it. But I am like, okay, so someone was lying. But how much of it could have been a lie? Or how much? Oh, I don't know. I don't have much left of the book. So, finally. Okay, so there's always been something odd in the way that one of the perspectives is written, because it's not really a dual timeline, because even though most of what he is saying is like recounting like from when he was younger, not all of it is like that. Part of it is like then it pulls back and he's like commenting like currently, and I'm like, what's up with that though? And I'm starting to think that like, what's up with that though? How does this end? Because I feel like it can't end well, but I'm becoming increasingly concerned. Alright, so I finished the book. I read it all in one day. And it's been a while since I've done that. So, despite that fact, so I didn't love it. It was not a thrill ride. It definitely did pick up in the last like 20-25% of the book. So if you start reading it and you're not sure, it's probably worth reading. Okay, here's the best thing I can say about it. So there are 3 different perspectives that you're following, and I liked them all equally, which I think is relatively rare for like a multi-perspective book. Usually you're like, oh, I want to get back to this person. But no, I honestly did like them all equally. I liked all of the characters and sort of their path through this narrative. It it did so I won't spoil the end, obviously. It did not end as in the way that I had thought necessarily. Like it didn't ever it was not as horrible as I thought it could have been. And horrible as in like gruesome, I suppose. So if you are looking for a slightly lighter thriller, this would be one to recommend. Trigger warning for rape, including of a child. So I will say that about this book. Yeah. So that was The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. Finish book one tomorrow. Hopefully, if if they become available at the library, I can pick what the next book will be in my October Thriller Read-A-Thon. Actually, there is one more thing to talk about with this first book. So I want to kind of learn in doing this what I like in thrillers and what I don't like. So from book one, The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, I liked the multiple perspectives. I liked the somewhat dual timeline. But I think really what I'm taking from this is that I really liked all of the characters. And why that is significant is because, like, with mysteries, which is a genre I generally prefer, I'm really there for, like, the puzzle of the mystery. I don't really need character development. I don't really need backstory. I am just there to figure it out. But with thrillers, I think I put more emphasis on caring about the actual characters, because then it's like, oh no, they're in this very dangerous situation. What is going to happen to them next? I care more because I care more about them. So I think that is something to look for, is like strong characters in a thriller. The thing I did not like was the pacing, I guess. It took a long time to start feeling like a thriller, and I really like twists and turns in a story. I don't want to be scared. Like, I'll be okay with being scared a little bit, but just keep surprising me. And yeah, so I think I want more of that in the thriller. So that's what I've learned from the first book. Okay, so hopefully continued tomorrow.